If you have heard about Astral Temples and wanted to find out more about them but can't really find that much information online, then let's have a look. Okay, so I recently, this past weekend, I added my Astral Temple course to my website. So if you do want to take that, then just go to leewjohnson.com. You'll find it in the courses. But I just wanted to talk about it generally today, because when I was doing a bit of research before actually creating the course to find out what other people have said about Astral Temples, and there is actually a lot of information out there about Astral Temples. The problem is you have to dig so deep it becomes disheartening for the beginner. When you do, or what I did, I went and just searched for how to create an Astral Temple, and there were 3 or 4 articles. All of them basically said the same thing. In fact, 2 of them were exactly the same. And there was a book on Scribd, a very short book that really I wouldn't even bother sending people to read because it was useless. So regarding the course, I just went with the information that I've collected over the years and I've used myself to actually work with Astral Temples. Now, the first thing that a lot of people question or aren't quite sure where to go with the whole thing is we talk about Astral Temple, and immediately a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people will think that because it's an astral temple, therefore we have to be able to do some kind of astral projection or astral travel. In other words, an out-of-body experience where you lie down, you go to sleep, and your spirit comes out of your body and goes traveling. That's not the case. The Astral Realm, and we've spoken about this quite a lot in Black Hat chats, so we're going to have a look at some of those if you're interested, especially the Dark and Light Time chat that we had was specifically about Astral Temples working in Dark and Light Time and working on the astral. But when we talk about the astral, there are lots and lots and lots of different layers to this. So out-of-body experiences and doing actual projection and travel is one, but you also have dream work, which is another level of the whole process. But we also have what we are talking about now, Astral Temples. And in this case, in order to get to your Astral Temple and build your Astral Temple, you simply have to get into a meditative state. And you can go into a light trance state. It doesn't need to be a deep trance state. Just a light trance state to medium trance state is perfectly fine. And you can attain this by just sitting down in a meditative position and just breathing. And just using your breath and breath work to actually get yourself into a calm, settled and light trance state. From there, you then simply take the journey itself. Now, concerning the journey, there are a lot of different ways you can do this. In fact, Shamanic Journeying itself is a form of doing the same thing. It's the same process at the end of the day. If you go into Golden Dawn, you'll find mention of actually using the tarot cards as gateways. So what you do is you sit, do various rituals, and then you actually stand up astrally and you walk through an image of the tarot card. And that tarot card acts as a gateway and you go into that realm. But these aren't specifically working with an astral temple. An astral temple is very beneficial for anybody who lives with people, who doesn't have enough space to actually create an entire temple room, for anybody who just simply needs a space outside of their physical space. And with the Astral Temple, you can develop this into something elaborate. You can keep it as simple as you want to. You can make it as big as you want to. In the course, I speak about creating various rooms for different things. So you might create a room for meditation. You might create a room for healing. You might create a room for your actual magical work. And then moving into demonic realms and doing ascension work. So you create all these rooms in your Astral Temple itself. But getting there can be various different processes. In the course, I actually take you through a path working which takes you to go and find your astral key. Now, the astral key I find quite valuable. Not everybody uses it, but I find it extremely valuable, and a lot of people who work extensively with astral temples will talk about the key and finding your key. So I take you through a whole path working where you go and find your key, and then you can use it to go and open the door to your astral temple. And obviously I take you through that explain the whole process of that as well. But the key itself I find quite important. As I said, a lot of people work without the key. That's fine. But, you know, especially when you start, if you do group work, group astral temple work, you're going to want to have a key, because what you'll find is that each person that goes into the astral temple in a group scenario, each person that goes in has to use the key to open the door to get into the astral temple. If somebody comes along and just happens to find that there is a temple here, then they have to have the key in order to get in. If they don't have the key, they can't get in. It keeps them out. So it creates a barrier or a level of protection that you can use. And the same thing with your own personal astral temple. You want to be in a space that is protected. It's only for you. Nobody else is allowed there, and you don't tell anybody about it, where it is, or anything like that. You know, where it is a bit of a discussion and debate. I do discuss my beliefs in there. You actually go inward into yourself, and that's where you find your astral temple. But you know, the astral is a very big area. It's not even an area. You can't even define it with space or time. You know, they just don't exist when we're talking about the astral. They don't really exist when we're talking about the physical or the organic realm, but again, that's a whole another discussion. But and time doesn't exist, so what can we say? But yeah, so in the course I discuss all of that, how to get your key, take you through a whole path working that takes you there, so you can actually get your key, bring you back, and then I discuss how to actually get to your astral temple, how to use the key, what to do with your temple, what you might want to do with your temple. So there's a whole lot of information in there. But I wanted to create this video today just to let people know that just because it's called an astral temple doesn't mean you have to have the ability to astral project or astral travel or do an out-of-body experience. This is purely a get into a meditative state, use breath work and get into a trance state, and then take a shamanic style journey to your astral temple. And that's all done through visualization and imagination. So, you know, and for anybody who cannot visualize, you know, try this anyway. Because if you can't visualize in the sense of not being able to see visions or see visual things, like imagine an apple, you can't see it. Other people can see it. Some people can see it easier than others, but some people can't do that at all. You can use your other senses, for instance, and see if that works for you. So just knowing that you're there makes you there. It puts you there, just knowing it, and you can experience it in that way. So, as I say, anybody can incorporate astral temples into their work, and great for anybody who cannot create, who doesn't have the space to actually create an actual temple room, you know, that you can go into and do your workings physically. There are some workings that you need to do physically, but there are a lot of workings you can do in the Astral Temple. What's great about the Astral Temple is you can make it as fantastical as you want to. I mean, you know, a lot of people have this question of, if you do magic and you wave a wand around, why doesn't it look like Harry Potter? You know, with all the sparkles and the energy flying all over the place and whatnot. It doesn't happen that way in the organic realm, but when you're in your Astral Temple, you can make it do whatever the hell you want it to do. So if you do want to point your wand at something and see all this sparks and flames and stuff come out of it, that's what happens. You create anything you want to in your Astral Temple, which is why it becomes amazing to actually work with an Astral Temple. The biggest warning is, especially in the beginning, don't spend too much time there, because you are going to drain energy from your physical body. So don't spend too much time there, as amazing and fantastic as it is to actually be in your Astral Temple. You know, a lot of people go there and they're so comfortable and so happy there, they don't want to return. But keep a balance, keep a good balance, and be sensible. Alright, so I don't want to get too much into what I did in the course, because obviously then it wouldn't be worthwhile taking the course. So I'm going to leave this here. Just wanted to actually just make, as I said, make people aware that Astral Temple isn't specifically about working with out-of-body experiences. It's done another way, on a different level of the astral. And that's really it. Okay, so I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Or Friday. If you're going to be in the Black Hat chat on Friday, please come and join us. And we'll see you there. Cheers.